Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Committed Critics, a pop culture podcast where we're not only committed to our opinions, but also each other. Aww. I'm Zachary Wright, and I'm the only committed critic here today. That's fun. And I have with me Andy Phillips. Andy, go ahead and introduce yourself. Where can people find you at? All that good fun jazz.
Thanks for the introduction, Zach.
No problem.
Happy to be back. My name's Andy Phillips. I do all sorts of things. I run a YouTube channel with a little over 200 subscribers.
Heck yeah, buddy. Let's go.
I'm at the beginning stages of that. I also will produce different segments, projects, and etc. for the Game Awards, Summer Game Fest, and Jeff Keighley as a whole. So
everyone should go check out Andy's YouTube channel. It's awesome. He does some great content over there. And then, speaking of which, Andy, what have you been up to recently?
So in terms of YouTube stuff, I'm in the middle of season 4. Been taking a little bit more breaks in between stuff for my main line of work, which is also kind of the theme of today's episode, which is Summer Game Fest and everything around it. So.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So what exactly did you do for Summer Games Fest this time around?
Yeah. So as I talked about previously on the show, I am the VP of co-streaming for the Game Awards and by proxy Summer Game Fest. With Summer Game Fest, it's one of Jeff Keighley's newer projects. He's been doing the Game Awards for about 7, almost 8 years now. And this is the second year for Summer Game Fest. And it was kind of born from quarantine. It was a quarantine project for him. Last year was just him running the show. And now he's brought his Game Awards team on, myself included. And so anyone that wanted to co-stream the show, as in watch our kickoff live show and react to it live, I was the liaison for them. So I handled thousands of Twitch and YouTube and Facebook streamers and all that jazz.
That's so cool, Andy. I'm so happy for you. That's
Thank you.
Really neat. So Summer Games Fest, was that because before, like with COVID and everything and E3 kind of like having its little like almost twilight on E3, was Summer Games Fest going to be the replacement for E3 or?
Yeah, so this is a distinction that I myself had to kind of learn along the way, because the way that a lot of people understand it is not exactly how it is. Where Jeff had brought this project up, in a year that E3 couldn't happen, and just as kind of a way to continue to unite the gaming community and stuff, and kind of bring anyone that isn't able to host their own show. He held a kickoff live show. And so that was our big event for Summer Game Fest. And it's important to kind of distinguish that there are some like Xbox and Bethesda, they showed at both Summer Game Fest and E3. So it's something we're all still trying to navigate and figure out where it lands. But I'm just happy to be part of the ride. So.
And I'm so happy for you. Yeah, no, Summer Games Fest, it was super cool to like just keep up with on Twitter, watching the live stream, watching all the announcements come out. Like E3, I never really was a big E3 person. I like watching all the announcements come out, all that stuff, seeing what new is coming to video games, because I myself love video games. Oh, yeah. New series with Davey Peppers on Committed Critics, where we play a monthly video game, kind of like a little book club.
Always be plugging.
Exactly. Plug, don't stop. So I watched part of Summer Games Fest. That was super fun to watch and keep up with. Since we worked on it, and you're a fan of games, what were some of the things you liked about it?
So, I'm a bit of a, I get excited about all games, but especially if I see a nice sandbox, or like a big game event, I'm always hyped for those. So I will say, like, Breath of the Wild 2 was definitely on my radar. Loved that announcement. It was super cool to see Elden Ring premiere at our show too.
That was mind blowing.
Yeah,
I remember seeing Twitter just light up like a Christmas tree.
Yeah. People were really hyped by that news. And I mean, you could even tell by Jeff's live reaction. He was just like, it's finally time. And he's freaking out. He's having a great time. So
he's such he has a nice presence on stage where he's like, he's just as much of a fan as everyone else is. So when he made that announcement, it was so cool to see, watching that little clip on YouTube or on Twitter.
Yeah.
Ryan had a couple inputs he saw when he was watching the Summer Games Fest. He really enjoyed and is excited for Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, the first announcement from Summer Games Fest, the spinoff to Borderlands.
Which I had no idea that was coming. So whenever I was just like, okay, this looks interesting. And then I was like, wait, do I recognize that character? And then they were like, it's not Borderlands, but it's a side thing. I was like, oh, okay, well, cool, because that's awesome. I'm a fan of the Borderlands trilogy and all the subsidiaries. So
you're right. Yeah, no, I got to add Borderlands to the monthly checkpoint because I try to play Borderlands 2, and I've always gotten like to the first like hour, 2 hours mark. And so when I saw Tiny Tina, I was like, oh, okay, it's a new Borderlands IP. That's really interesting.
Yeah, right.
On there, Ryan also had Overwatch 2. Not a lot of information, but we got a couple character skins, which is really nice.
Yeah, see, I missed the first wave of for the first Overwatch game. Like I missed that wave. It was sometime during college when I had too much going on and I just wasn't gaming as much. And so I've been like, oh, do I get into Overwatch like now? This was me thinking about a year ago. Do I get into the game now, or do I just wait for the sequel? Which, I was assuming was going to be coming sooner rather than later. Obviously,
I was expecting the announcement this E3. Not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, right. So like, obviously COVID and everything else goes down, and I'm like, okay, so that's probably going to get pushed back a little bit. I'm surprised there's no like, as far as I'm aware, there's not like a specific release date as of yet.
No, right? Yeah, exactly. Fun fact, Overwatch is coming to cross-platform.
Oh, heck yeah.
So I was thinking about getting a little committed critics game together, a little 6-person squad. So if you're interested in that, Andy,
let's get going.
But yeah, once that comes out, once it's cross-platform, I think we might do some content with Overwatch on Committed Critics. So we'll see about that.
Amazing.
I've been missing multiplayer games. In high school, I was a big Rainbow Six Siege. I played Overwatch in high school as well.
Oh, wow.
I miss multiplayer games right now. I miss them a lot. I played Warzone over the summer, and I've been wanting to play Warzone, but I've had no one to like have a squad, like a full squad with. I don't like playing with randoms too much.
Yeah, right. Like my FPS like days really kicked into gear with Titanfall when I was in college.
Oh, I love Titanfall.
And so the sequel came out and I was all about that. And that was like the game that I binged. And like, if I had to mix it up, I would throw in a few rounds of Rocket League or something in between.
Exactly. Yeah.
But then I graduated from college, and then, I was moved around so much that it was a little less difficult to keep up with like multiplayer gaming. So it's like I would have time, I'd be like, all right, let me just finish a quick shrine in Breath of the Wild, and then I'll dip, because that was a lot quicker than playing multiple, multiplayer games online. But now I'm like, man, I need to get back with the boys. We need to start gaming again. We
need to start a boys channel, like BOII gaming channel on our Discord over here.
Hell yeah.
No, yeah, I'm the same way too. Like Avengers, the Square Enix game.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be a multiplayer game. I've been single playing it the entire time. I've not
really
gone with their team once yet, and it's so like crappy.
Side note, like, do you think it holds up as a one-player experience?
The story
I've
mode,
yet to actually play it.
So the story is the campaign story where you reassemble the Avengers. It's like 10 to 12 hours. It's a good story, very buggy, kind of basic Avengers story, but Kamala Khan is such a good character. Love her. But there are definitely multiplayer elements that are like, okay, this is clearly like you need 3 other players. Like, yeah, the AI does it for them, but like this is clearly like I think Girlfriend Reviews had a good analogy. Like, clearly this is a multiplayer like mission. Like, why am I doing this in a single player campaign? Like,
yeah, right.
But yeah, you can do it. Like, I think I'm getting to the point in the game where I need other players to do like the higher ranks, higher level stuff, kind of like Destiny. But yeah.
I was a fan of like the Tomb Raider series that Square Enix did.
Right.
And I was definitely interested in seeing the Avengers one, but it just kind of like, it got released again during a time when I wasn't necessarily buying video games. And I was like, all right,
it'll as hell though. So I mean, you didn't miss much.
Okay. I'm just fine. Like, I'm sure it'll release on like Game Pass or something someday. So I'm kind of holding out for then.
I'm holding out for it to get released on PS Plus at some point for sure.
That makes sense.
Going back to Ryan's list real quick, he looks forward to Monster Hunter Stories 2 a little bit, and Elden Ring, of course.
For sure.
On my list, I'm excited for Deviation Games, that announcement with the 2 Call of Duty developers.
That was honestly unexpected. Like, I was just like, oh, cool. Like, a new thing. That's like pretty wild.
I'm thinking we might get some Call of Duty Zombies only games coming soon with that announcement.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
Right. And Solar Ash also looked really cool.
There was one game that I knew ahead of time, like whenever it got announced kickoff show that Japanese Breakfast was gonna perform, and I've enjoyed like her and that band for a while, and so I was like, all right, cool, it'd be cool to see something. Had no idea that the game Sable that she like has done the entire music for, is like heavily integrated with her like sound and with her musical tones.
That's really neat.
And like if you haven't caught, again, I would be saying this if I didn't work for Summer Game Fest, but if you didn't catch Japanese Breakfast performance there, oh my God, I've had it in my head for weeks. Like it's just like such a good live performance.
I'll have to go back and catch it again because I think I had to put my phone down for a second because I think I was doing training on that day.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. But like definitely recommend, like it sold me on the game Sable for sure.
Okay, cool. Yeah. No, yeah, I'm super looking forward to all the games that came out of Summer Games Fest. But we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk about some other E3 exclusive things and what announcements we think look good, what are coming, and what looks bad, and what has you the most hyped. So Stick around. We'll be right back.
Starting a podcast? Try a Podbean Unlimited hosting plan. It's what we use here at Committed Critics, giving us the opportunity to have our show on Pandora, iHeartRadio, and even Spotify. You can get your first month of unlimited hosting for free on us by going to podbean.com/committedcrits, just like our Twitter, or by clicking the link in the description. Podbean, the easiest, most affordable option to get started in podcasting.
Don't you wish there was a pop culture review site that appealed to cinephiles, both professional and casual? Well, look no further than crpwrites.com. New content such as movie and TV reviews, film essays, and more are released every week by writers who crave for movies like every moviegoer craves for popcorn. CRP Writes is dedicated to making sure no one is wasting time or money where they shouldn't be. After all, you have to be able to buy your popcorn and eat it too. crpwrites.com. Casual reviews with purpose since 2018.
Hey, welcome back. And now Andy and I are just going to sit here and chat about some other E3 announcements and just kind of nerd out about all the E3 announcements, what showcases we enjoy, which ones we didn't enjoy, what announcements got us the most hyped. Ryan also had some notes on here. Ryan is looking forward to Life is Strange, True Colors. But sadly, he and I disagree, and that Guardians of the Galaxy game does not look that great to him.
I don't know how I feel about it. I think I'll have a better formed idea once I play through the Square Enix Avengers game. And I'll get a better sense because even if as long as you have a good story, I can probably be satisfied.
I'm happy that it's single player. That's where I'm like, okay, cool. They learned a little bit from Avengers. Now it does have that Avengers style, which is okay, not the best.
Yeah.
I do enjoy that single player. The questionable decision is whether playing as Star-Lord only is the good option.
Is that the only character you can play as?
You can only play as Star-Lord. And like the way you control the rest of the Guardians though. Like you're the leader. So you can kind of like Atreus in God of War. You could tell Gamora to shoot that or tell Rocket blow that up. Like in the trailer, there's different menus. There's different menus you can pull up. So it's kind of like a tactical way of playing as all of them through Star-Lord.
Yeah. Which ironically kind of reminds me of a Marvel Ultimate Alliance back in the day.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I kind of wish that the Avengers Square Enix game had was you could switch in battle. Like like Lego game where you could switch characters in Lego games. I know that's a little bit harder, but
I mean, it seems like the natural move at this point, right? Like you have a team game you want to play as most, if not all of them.
Right. And I think Avengers was definitely pitched as a games as a service kind of game where like Destiny, where you hop in with 3 other friends, you got a team, you go fight the big bad as the Avengers. Okay. But it kind of lost its way in the mud a little bit and has that single player experience in there where it's like, well, I'm just kind of here to just play as the Avengers, as the Avengers in a story mode as a team. And when you can only play as one, that kind of is lukewarm to a lot of people, which I totally understand and empathize with.
Was there anything else from the Square Enix one that popped out? Nothing's come to mind like right off the top of my head.
The only thing is the discourse around Babylon's Fall, how that got completely like screwed by Square Enix. Sorry, not sorry. Like, I think it was supposed to be like this it's supposed to be one type of, I don't remember the whole story, but I do know it's supposed to be like one type of game.
Okay.
But it just got shafted and everyone's very much like, this isn't what we wanted. Like, what the heck, Square?
Oh, wow. Huh.
Yeah. I watched Kind of Funny's recap of the Square Enix showcase, and they did a good job. I know they were very, there's a lot of discourse over Babylon's Fall. So I'll have to go back and really try and figure out why there was.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah, Guardians. It all comes down to how's the story, how does it feel. I'm hopeful. I'm definitely gonna buy it. Like, I'm gonna play it. But
oh yeah,
yeah.
Like I'm definitely interested to try it out. But the fact that you can only, as he said, only play as one character,
right?
I can't help but feel like that's going to be a handicap for me as like a single player experience.
For sure, yeah, and I think it works to its. I guess I'm giving the benefit of the doubt. Guardians works in that way a little bit better than the Avengers, because like the Guardians, they're a family. They're like, it's one unit, whereas they're like all one person. Whereas Avengers are more singular and individual, where it's like, okay, Iron Man, Cap. Guardians is more of like they work together. They're the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think it works better for Guardians than it would be for Avengers. If you told me like you could only play as Iron Man in an Avengers game, then I'd be like, what the heck? 12 minutes. Have you seen this one, Andy? 12 minutes.
It's yeah. It was like a top down, right? But it's like
a top down time loop puzzle game.
Yeah, but it had like actually a pretty notable cast. If I'm like, was Elijah Wood in there? There was someone I remember being like, they're in the game.
So the wife, I believe, is played by Daisy Ridley from Star Wars. She's Rey.
Wow.
I think the husband is played by James McAvoy.
That's who I was thinking of. Oh.
Yeah, and the villain, I think, is Willem Dafoe.
Oh, like anything Willem Dafoe's a part of, I'm all down for. It comes out in August. Yo.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm super excited for 12 minutes. 12 minutes will be the next one I pick up for sure. I was excited for Mario Golf, but I've not been seeing good reviews of Mario Golf, unfortunately.
Yeah. There's one game that I'm thinking of that is similar to 12 minutes, but it's from the people that made Limbo and Inside, and I'm trying to remember the name of it. I'm looking it up now.
Yeah, you go ahead and look that up. I know there was another time loop game like Deathloop, obviously. Deathloop's coming out, I think, in the fall, I believe, by Arcane, and that looks good, but I don't think that comes out till like October, November.
Gotcha.
But yeah, 12 minutes looks really good. And of course, Halo Infinite with the year delay.
Oh yeah.
I'm excited for Halo. I'm glad it's gonna be coming to Game Pass.
I'm interested. Awesome. I'm interested to see, because I was talking with my roommate Ryan, and he was talking about how there's kind of a gap between Halo games, and we looked back at it, and it's been the longest between official installments between this 5th one and the 6th one, and it got me thinking. I'm like, there's probably a whole like younger generation now that never really like knew Halo as this big thing, because when we were growing up, it had just started taking off. Like it was, 1 and 2 and 3 were very successful on their platforms. But then I'd say after Reach, unless you were already a previous fan, they didn't really like pick up new fans with like 4 or 5. Obviously, no offense to the developers, it's just a product of the time.
You're fine. Yeah.
I'm interested to see like if a new generation picks it up as easily as they would be wanting.
Well, let me ask you a question, Andy. How old are you? I'm just curious.
I am 24, so I'm like just young enough that I remember it, but I'm just old enough that I remember it, but just young enough that it's like I've previously known about it.
And I am 22, and I am that generation you're talking about.
Yeah,
I had never played a Halo game.
You wouldn't think 2 years would be that big of a difference, but I guess it is.
Yeah. So like I never played Halo until I got to college. Like, okay, I take that back. I got Halo 5 because my friends got it for Xbox One. And we all know how Halo 5 turned out.
Yeah.
I think we played it maybe a total of 3 times. And I bought a $60 game back then. I played for 3 times. I was very, very angry with myself and my friends. So Halo 5 was technically my first Halo. Now, that being said, got to college, Xbox 360s. We did LAN parties. We played Halo 3, Halo 4. Never played the campaigns. I still have the Master Chief Collection. I need to go back and play through before Halo Infinite at some point. But no, I agree with you. I'm excited to see how Halo Infinite brings in that new fan base. I want them to catch me. I really do. I'm totally down to start playing Halo on my PC over here in my office while in me and Jordan's little office instead of on the TV, you know?
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Kind of like in that Call of Duty Warzone aspect. I kind of want to do that with Halo on my PC because I have that flexibility with Game Pass Ultimate, which would be super cool. Are there any bad announcements that you saw out there? Anything that looks not too great? So
I'm still trying to find, because I know there's a story behind the developers. They're called Play Dead. They're the ones that made Limbo and Inside, and they're short, but they're short story-driven games where it's like you have one route to take, but it's kind of puzzles, kind of not.
Right.
And I remember the new one. It's like about a family.
Oh, is it about the mom and the daughter?
I'm genuinely, this is driving me nuts. Why can't I find it? Hold on.
Because there was one about like a mom and a daughter, and it had two notable voice actors in it, or not voice actors, actresses.
Oh, okay, I've got it.
What is it? Okay,
so it's called Somerville. It's from the co-founder of Play Dead, the developers behind Limbo and Inside. But if you look at the trailer, it's just it's a 3D wandering game, but it's like a fixed camera. So like there's a lot of destruction that happens around you. You're walking through different territories, but the general pitch is it's just a family of three and they're trying to escape certain death. Who knows? But it looks really fun.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll keep looking out for that one. And of course, the big announcement at the end of the Nintendo one, Breath of the Wild 2.
Oh, bless up. Finally, frankly.
Do you think they'll hit 2022?
I don't see. I really hope that they do. Like I think with everything going on, that's far enough in the future that they have time. I don't want them to do crunch at all. If they need more time, obviously take the time. But if they're as far into it as I hope they are, I'm really hoping to play this game by holiday of next year.
That would be phenomenal if next year we could be playing Breath of the Wild 2, because that trailer looks so good. Breath of the Wild 1 was my first entry into the Legend of Zelda video games, right?
Yeah, like it basically was mine as well, because I watched my older brother play through like a lot of the Zelda entries, but it was always like backseat gaming. Like I was just watching and experiencing with him, which was great. Yeah. But I had never like fully gone and like had an original solo experience with Zelda. So having Breath of the Wild be that for me was a great time. And I hope to like basically recapture that with the second one.
Right. No, exactly. I'm looking forward to as well, because I've played through Breath of the Wild twice within the last year, I think.
For sure.
I finished my first playthrough back, I think, was it March maybe? And then I replayed it recently for Monthly Checkpoint with Davey. And every time I play that game, in the moment I'm frustrated, in the moment I'm like, God, I keep messing up. Like, and I know it's all on me. Like, it's not the game. Sure. It's my use of the mechanics that's making me die and whatever. But after I'm done, I'm like, man, I really got a hankering to go back and play it again. Just it's just so good.
Well, and the physics it's the only game. Granted, there's a lot of games that I haven't played, but it's the only game where it felt like the physics made perfect sense within the world. Yeah. Like if I wanted to climb something, I could climb something. If I wanted to jump, I could jump. You know, it's such a revolutionary thought that Link can jump. But like, it's now that I've had that taste, I don't want them to remove any of the features that they've added to future Zelda games.
Yeah. In Monthly Checkpoint, not to spoil anything for the show, but Davey puts it very well, where it's like, if I want to go climb that mountain, I'm going to go climb that mountain.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's that creativity that the game has. I really hope that creativity, I hope it's not too complicated, if that makes sense. Cause like it was very simple in Breath of the Wild 1 with like the freeze, the magnet, stuff like that.
Yeah.
When in the trailer you saw like the boulder, like rewind time or whatever.
Yeah.
I was just thinking in my head, oh my God, I'm going to suck at these shrines, these dungeons, whatever they're going to be. I'm going to suck.
Like I'm going to be a day one player on it, but I'm so interested to see how they, because a lot of people consider Ocarina of Time and the Majora's Mask like the ideal like first entry and then follow up. So I'm wondering if they're in a way trying to capture that spirit with this sequel, with them adding basically just more onto the same onto the same graphics and same physics, but
for sure,
I guess we'll see.
Do you think that we'll need a Switch Pro for this?
I don't. I think Nintendo would be pigeonholing themselves if they did that. I mean, especially since they sell the handheld ones,
right?
And they've been pushing those as long as they do. I don't even know how much motion controls are going to be active, right?
Right, yeah.
You can't do like singular Joy-Con requests, or at least you're going to have an alternate move pattern for that can get the same result. I don't know. I'm definitely interested to see what they do.
Yeah, no, I think Switch Pro would help, because I remember when I was playing through my second time, there were some parts of Breath of the Wild where it was chugging. Was like, oh, that frame rate hit like 15. I'm like, ooh, that's rough. So I think for sure, like a Switch Pro would help benefit. Like, hey, you want to play it in 4K? Here you go. Like, buy it. Like, it's not going to stop anyone. Oh yeah, I really want to get like a OLED TV. So
oh my god, yeah, like it's on my like wish list. And I'm just like, part of me wants to wait until Black Friday, but I also know that the TVs they sell on Black Friday are specifically for Black Friday, and they're going to get tossed around, and they're probably not going to be as high or quality as I want. So I just need to save up and invest in it, you know?
Exactly. I mean, like that'll last you probably 10 years, at like hopefully more, obviously.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, no, I really want, because we're looking for a new TV right now, but there's no way I can convince Jordan to get a $2,000 TV.
Yeah, right. Like I just upgraded my Xbox. I had an OG Xbox One, and then my friend was selling. He had gotten a Series X, and then
nice.
I already had what's the middle one?
The Series S.
No, it's before the next gen came out.
Oh, Xbox One X and
yes.
the Xbox One S.
Yeah, I've got a white Xbox One X that can run 4K and will play 4K discs and do all this stuff. Genuinely don't know the difference besides like slightly higher RAM and stuff like that between like Series S and this, but yeah, I mean, like I've got like a 4K machine now, but no 4K screens. Go figure.
Exactly. Yeah. No. I have a PS5. I got lucky and got one of those.
Nice.
I have an Xbox One S, so like I have the one below you, I believe.
Yeah.
I think it can still read 4K, like movies and stuff, but it can't play 4K games. But yeah, no, like the PS5 can run 4K stuff.
No,
it markets 8K, so I would love to be able to see the Miles Morales in 4K resolution.
Oh, that would be so fun.
Frame rate would be better, but man, it'd be so cool to see it.
Get ray tracing out the wazoo.
Oh my god, I'm so excited. But let's head out to our final thoughts real quick of this season of E3 and Summer Games Fest. Woo. Andy, since you worked on it, what was it like to work on it? Was it what was the experience like?
Honestly, a really great experience. I mean, I've been lucky enough that I've been able to work with Jeff and the rest of the team. That this is my main work that I've been booking. So I've been able to step away from funeral videography. So maybe it's the fact that I don't have to film those services anymore, that I'm like, that I'm as like jazz, but also it's just like, it's really cool to like, be a part of the process. I even got to, I'm gonna plug the people that I interviewed. There's Shaz. He's a developer with I want to say it's ASA Studio. I don't want to butcher that. But he made him and two other people made a game called BFF or Die. He's from England. And I got to like interview him, and we made a little spot package for him and for his game. But the way he talked about gaming, and he really has a vision for like collaboration. So the game they have, which you can get on Amazon Prime, is you use one controller, but you have to have two people, because like you have to do two things simultaneously, and it's too hard for like one person to like navigate the two separate characters. So you both have to hold a controller. So that one was really fun to like spearhead. There's another game called New World, which I also helped produce a showcase for. That one is an MMORPG, I believe.
Awesome. Okay, yeah.
And that's a new one. It's got if you're into medieval-esque stuff, definitely keep your eyes open for that one. The open beta comes in like August. And then there's another game called Newfound Courage, which is it's by the developer Curtis I interviewed as well, and I think his promo package is coming out soon. But we basically talked about his game and LGBTQ representation within developers and the video game industry, and because the game itself is about a young gay couple and their kind of experience. And obviously, I'm not the developer. I'm not going to, try and pitch their own product for them. But I was definitely impressed by all the entries that I saw.
Awesome. I'm so happy for you, man. I'm so excited for you to keep going back and getting more and seeing more of what Jeff has in store for the rest of the world first. And then you can make that content and get that bread. I'm so happy for you, man.
Get that bread for sure.
Get that bread. My final thoughts. This E3 year was great. Back to the swing of things. It's funny. This E3 got me more excited for next year's E3 when developers can use more potential of next gen. Also, I'm looking forward to what PlayStation has up their sleeve coming soon. At some point, we got to get something for Horizon Forbidden West at some point.
Yeah.
We know God of War Ragnarok got delayed, so I'm sure we'll get some updates on that, et cetera, et cetera.
There is one that hasn't been mentioned that I do have my eyes on.
Yeah,
called for Back for Blood from the creators of Left 4 Dead.
Yeah.
From WB Games, like that. Yeah. That one I'm definitely going to be playing. I think it comes out in October, if I remember correctly.
Don't you just mean Left 4 Dead 3?
Yeah, pretty much. Honestly, like it's just like a slight graphics change, but not really. Like, and I'm ready for like a new wave of zombie games if that's the move.
Yeah, I'm down for that as well. Andy, where can people find you one last time for our listeners out there?
You can find me at I am Andy Phillips on any of my socials. I do Twitter, sometimes Instagram. I post TikToks, and YouTube's my main place. So if you want some more well-edited, polished content, I try and put as much of that as I can on my YouTube. So
heck yeah,
check it out.
And he's got buttloads of content. Go check it out, guys. You can follow us at Committed Critics. That is COMMITTEDCRITS at Committed Crits. And we are Committed Critics on YouTube, et cetera, et cetera. We are on Podbean, and we are on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Follow our Patreon, Committed Critics as well. Thank you to our current Patreons, Davey Peppers from Game Mechanics, Ryan I'm going to butcher his name. Andy, help me out. What's Ryan's last name?
Kowakowski,
thank you. From Ryan Plays Drums. And my mother, Jody Wright. Thanks, Mom. Special thanks to our sound engineer, Jordan Smearman. And then we will see you guys next time.
Thanks for having me, guys. See you later.
Thanks, Andy.